Christians would be going for pilgrimage in Uasin Gishu County. A few weeks ago, we saw the president of Kenya showing his solidarity with the people of Israel. Do you guys know where he comes from?
Uasin Gishu.
Uasin Gishu.
The very same place.
He comes from Uasin Gishu. I don't know if he knows this history. What's up, brothers and sisters? Welcome back to African Buzz, and thank you so much for subscribing and for coming to watch this video. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe so that we can move forward and so that you don't miss any of our video as we move together celebrating Africa and also looking at the matters that are affecting Africa in one way or the other. But today, in this video, we are going to look at the bullet that we dodged. Whew. Remember, between 1888 and 1970s, most African countries were colonized. But do you know that Kenya dodged a bullet of becoming the modern day Israel? And you have seen what is happening in Israel and Palestine today, only because that Israel was later formed in Palestine. But do you know that this could be happening to Kenyans right now? Do you know that probably the people you are celebrating that are being killed as you support Israel would be
been you
in Kenya. Yeah, or even affecting the people of Uganda. So what happened is the Jews had spread all over Europe. And in 1896, because there was something we call anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is like the racism that the black people are going through today in Europe, in US. That is what the Jewish people are going through. But they had the local citizenship. They were German Jews, English Jews, you know, they were everywhere.
But still going through racism. Yeah,
that is anti-Semitism. And we saw this happening in 1903 and in 1905 in the areas of Moldova and Russia, in which there was a massacre. And to avoid the fact that these people are going through a lot of anti-Semitism, this guy called Theodor Herzl came up with the idea of Zionism, which was to create a Jewish state somewhere in the world.
From nowhere.
Remember, you know you are supporting Israel, but you have to understand that this was a country that was formed in about 1948, or let's say about 1931 going to 1948. But it never existed. It was just stories. So what happened is, one thing, these people are running from Moldova going to the other Western countries of Europe, British and all that. And the European people never wanted that. That is why you come to 1930-something to 1945, where you see Hitler killing a lot of Jews in the Holocaust. And to avoid all this, Theodor Herzl had come up with the idea of creating a state. And they wanted the area around Egypt, Sinai Mountain and Palestine, which then in the 1903 was under the Ottoman Empire. That is Turkey, what we call Turkey today. So the British could not give them that, and the British never wanted these people to come to their countries, so they could not give them that. So what happened? The British then had taken Kenya and the British East Africa and called under the Imperial British East African Company, and they had built a rail, but it was not making any profit, and they had a lot of debts. So the British government had taken over Kenya, built a Kenya-Uganda railway so that it can be used to improve the economies of those people who had become settlers in Kenya, taken the lands of the local people, and you know, but now it was not making profit. And we have this guy.
And it was used like 5 million pounds.
Yeah, a lot of money.
5.4 million pounds.
Yeah, a lot of money. And that was then. There's this British colonist, his name was Joseph Chamberlain, who came through Mombasa in Kenya as he was going to South Africa, because there was the there was a war in South Africa, Anglo-Boer War, in which now the Boers, that is the Netherlands people, Dutch, were fighting to own South Africa, and the English people are also fighting to own South Africa. So he passed to Mombasa, and the people complained about, we are not making any profit. Settlers have refused to come and invest in this country. The real estate making losses. So this guy decided, wow, is this not an ideal idea to come and settle these Jewish people here?
The ones we don't want.
We don't want them, but we can bring them here so that they will be good people to work on this and
revive the economy.
Revive the economy, because now the rail is not being used and they need people to come and farm. Mostly what they were getting from Kenya were raw materials, agricultural materials, because there's not a lot of minerals.
Kenya is fertile land.
Yeah, so there's coffee, tea, I don't know, corn and all that. That is what they will be getting from Kenya and transporting through the rail, so the rail would start making profit. So when he went back to Europe, he proposed this to the congressmen in British. Together with Theodore Herzl, they proposed this to the congressmen. And the congressmen voted. And in 1903, it was passed. So they decided they are going to send representatives to Kenya, which included some Jewish engineers, to come and survey so that they can see if it's ideal to relocate
These Jews.
the Jewish people and create their temporary Israel in Uasin Gishu, Kenya. So, at the same time, you remember this guy, Hazo, had created a Zionist movement and had promised these people that we are going to relocate you to the East Sinai area, Palestine, Egypt, So they were very much against. And at the same time, the settlers in Kenya fought against it because they saw like these people are being moved here. And remember, they are still racist in there. That is anti-Semites.
Even in a foreign country.
Yeah, they in a foreign countries, they have taken a foreign land, but they are still
racist towards others.
Yeah, it's like the same way it's happening to our brothers and sisters.
Like what we always see, white people being racist to Chinese, being racist to us in our own continent, and we allow it.
So these people were racist, and they never wanted the Jews to move to their Europe, Western Europe, and now this guy wanted to move them from Europe to Africa. They still don't want.
Imagine.
So they fought it a lot, and when these people were sent, the representatives, they were sent to Kenya to see. They complained about the Maasai being fierce, the lions and other creatures in the forest. But the main thing that made them, they also complained about climate, but the main thing that stopped them was the person who was the commissioner of the time, and also the white settlers who refused completely. Then when Theodore Herzl proposed this to his Zionist members, they were very much against him and they refused, in a way that he was supposed to even resign, because they never wanted to hear anything about it, because they were obsessed about the Palestine area. Okay?
Yeah, and then looking at them bringing these Jews who are a totally different skin from ours, that could also have been a conflict of
but
how
remember,
come you are making
even
this
these
place?
people, they came, they still have the white color, the settlers.
No, those ones we know for sure they don't belong. You know, when this thing was packaged, it was like, this is your land, this is your promised land. So it couldn't fit very well with the narrative that we are always reading in the Bible of how it was. And then I think also our skin color was like, it was a total opposite for this.
They needed to create a narrative that this is not.
This is, you know.
But you know, they own the propaganda, so they could have created this narrative.
Yeah.
And
These
Christians would be going for pilgrimage in Uasin Gishu County. So guys, that is how we dodged a bullet. That is how Africa dodged a bullet. And after that, they dropped the case in 1905, and now they followed the way to Palestine. In that period, Palestine, Jordan, all those areas was under the Ottoman Empire. That is Turkey. The Turkish Empire was called Ottoman Empire. And the World War I was now to fight the Ottoman Empire out of that area so that it can be owned by British. and they took a lot of people across Africa. A lot of Africans lost their lives as they fought for that. A lot of Arabs also fought for that because they were told, when we fight, you help us fight, we are going to give you independence. Guys, you should look at the Uganda Scheme online. Just Google Uganda Scheme and you're going to understand all this. Then you can follow with Al Jazeera. They have documentaries of how Palestine was formed. And the people of Palestine and the Arabs have always been against this.
And the thing that makes me angry is that when the British realized that this is beyond our control now, they left all this letter to the UN.
Now that comes because in 1931 they brought these people, the Zionists were brought, and they start killing people, and there's war, and they decide we are going to divide Palestine into two states. The Arabs are like, no, this is our land.
Of course.
And they continue fighting. In 1939, they say, okay, this is what we want. We don't want any more Jews to come, but let us live together as one country, Palestine, with equal rights and equal everything. The Zionists say, no, they refuse. Because what do they want? They don't want to be mixed. Imagine, from where you come from, they hate you. So you are brought to a place where they don't like you, but
they are willing to accommodate you.
Exactly. They are willing to accommodate you. And now, when they accommodate you, you are like, no. And that is when the British left and said, we are leaving it to the newly formed UN. And the UN now decided, we are going to divide it. Israel will get 55%, Palestine will get 45%. The Arabs are like, it's unfair.
Very unfair.
No. And when they say no, now these people are like, we are killing them everywhere and all that. And that is how
useless the UN has been since then.
And that is also how Palestine lost its land.
And so continues to be subjected to apartheid.
Guys, you can listen to that in a lot of documentaries on YouTube. But how Kenya dodged this bullet?
How Africa, honestly?
So the thing is, a few weeks ago we saw the president of Kenya showing his solidarity with the people of Israel, saying that the terrorists, who are the freedom fighters of Palestine,
Hamas,
should be arrested and should be brought to book. Instead of saying they should be justice like the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, is saying. Do you guys know where he comes from?
Uasin Gishu. The very same place.
He comes from Uasin Gishu. I don't know if he knows this history before going to support Israel. But probably he will be there going on pilgrimage in his land which was taken away.
No, he wouldn't even be allowed to enter. What are Palestinians being subjected to? And sometimes, some South Africans have issues against Mandela. But when you look at this history between Palestine and Israel and how it eventually became, how it has ended, even today there's no resolution to this issue. And then looking at South Africa, how it ended with South Africa, Mandela accepting that, fine, we will live with you white guys in our country. I'm looking at this situation whereby maybe if Mandela refused, if he said, no, we are not going to live with you, the war, it would have been like, still the same way in South Africa. So for the sake of peace, he was like, let's do it.
And you remember, even the Palestinians said that. Let us live together.
The Palestinians were ready for that.
But this prime minister who was like the first prime minister, his name was Ben Gurion. This is the person who perpetrated a lot of worst massacres on Palestinians. These guys were like, okay, let's live together. But he was like, no, let's kill them and take their land.
And then now the UN coming in is giving these people more land than these guys who have been found in this guy. So it now becomes even more unfair.
UN has always been the West. So let us say this. Kenyans, I don't know if those Kenyans who are going to church, we've seen Kenyans in church praying for Israel, they don't even understand what is happening. Today you would be crying because Israel would be here. Okay, it would be close for you who would like to be there, but it would be apartheid daily for you. And
would they even be allowed to access any of this Jerusalem?
Another thing is, we have seen a lot of Africans supporting what Israel is doing, and others are saying that it doesn't concern us. Let me tell you something, guys. If it doesn't concern us, and it happens that Palestine loses completely and it is wiped out of the map, these people will see a world which allows them to do this unfairness.
Injustices.
And it will be easier now to say we can go back to Libya and finish what we started. We can go to South Africa and take South Africa and finish what we started. They will be able to come and invade our lands and nobody will be able to talk because we allowed it. But kudos to South Africa for what they are doing. They are one country which
very vocal.
I've seen them showing their solidarity with Palestine. And the North African countries, kudos to them for fighting alongside Palestine.
And to those Africans who do not understand this issue, or who are just getting snippets of propaganda from the media and find themselves taking sides of things that they do not understand, I would rather you just keep quiet. I would rather you don't even show your ignorance to this matter by supporting something that you don't know. Our presidents, it is very, very unfortunate to see that a whole president of a country which could have been in this same situation saying, I stand with Israel, maybe because of the Bible, maybe because of religion, when this issue has nothing to do with religion. When we started the research on this whole issue, it was politics from the beginning. It was never about... It
was not. And imagine the then Prime Minister of Britain, his name was Leo George. He was a Christian zealot, and he believed that if they are able to create an Israel,
50 years later,
you know, they have the narrative, but they want to create an Israel.
A country where people can come and see these things.
Yeah, they want to build it somewhere where people can be going for pilgrimage, even if it never existed. He said that if they manage it, it will be like Jesus. Jesus will be brought back into the world.
Life.
Yeah.
And then if they did it 50 years later, people would believe that this thing was real. Actually.
That was Hazel.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Hazel who said that we have created Israel in just 5 years, and in 50 years, people will actually perceive it. They will believe it always existed.
Yeah.
And I know some of you are already believing it always existed. It never existed.
Such an injustice.
Yeah. So let us not give these people a chance to do this. Let us fight at least for a two-state solution.
Yes, because nobody is saying they should be taken out. Nobody wants them in Britain, in the UK. Nobody wants them. What do we do? Give them land, give them,
Yeah, like let us go back to 1948 UN solution.
No, but that one is still unfair. Let them, if it's 50-50, well, if it's 45 for them, well, then 55 for Palestine, because Palestinians have always been in that land.
Exactly.
So they can be given the 45. But now the unfortunate part is that they want to take everything from Palestinians.
Yeah, they've already taken everything. They are everywhere in Gaza, in West
Bank. That is where the problem is.
Yeah,
and then they are being supported by these other guys.
Yeah, because one after the Prime Minister said it would be like bringing Jesus back to earth, there was another guy who said that let us create this, and we'll always have allies in the Middle East for their personal interests. Yeah. So guys, I hope that we have been able to clear up the air for you. And if you're in Kenya, I hope you understand the grave danger we would have been in if this came to Africa. And we hope that you are going to research so that when you comment, you know that this is an injustice that should never have been for Palestine.
And it should never be allowed.
Yeah.
Because it will bring us a lot of trouble everywhere.
Yeah, so let us fight for the justice of the Palestinian people, a two-state solution, and finally we will know that globally we won. And the good thing about, we have our brothers and sisters in America, in wherever, and they experience what we are calling racism and what was anti-Semitism for the Jews. The good thing about you is you don't need anybody to create somewhere for you. You can always, you have home where you can see your people with your skin color there. you can create a home there without the requirement of the British to create a home for you, because they don't want you. We want you.
So guys, let us know what's the feeling about this video. Do you understand this issue clearly, or are you one of those who say, I stand with Israel, despite your, shallow understanding of the matter? Let us know what you think in the comment section down below, and definitely do like the video, share it, and please don't forget to subscribe. We shall see you in the next one.
Bye bye.